YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with some more 2019 NFL record predictions. This one is for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going team by team. Each team has their own video. Once we get through it, I will do playoff predictions, Super Bowl predictions, also trying to get the other Goat House members on board for their predictions as well. So a lot to get to here. But at this point of the video, I like to break down my thoughts on the team very quick. And the Jags are a team I'm kind of back and forth on. You know, I'm a big Nick Foles guy. Loved his game the last few years, and obviously he's an upgrade for Bortles. And just 2 years ago, the Jaguars were in the AFC Championship game, and last year they struggled. So people were just like assuming that teams, I'm not really just speaking for the Jaguars, but teams that struggled last year, multiple teams that struggled last year, that were supposed to be good, like people just kind of count them out, and they act so surprised when these teams are all of a sudden good again. It happens every year. So you cannot count a team like this out just because it's bad, like just last year, really. Nick Foles, will he be good in our system? That is the big question. Fournette's got to stay on the field. I know they got a list of running backs now, but Fournette's their guy. He's got to stay on the field. The receiver unit, wish they would upgrade that a little bit, but they got some playmakers there. Offense line, I was worrying about the right side a little bit. I love the Juwan Taylor pickup. Can he stay healthy? Another question there, but the offense line in general has to stay healthy. I think it's a solid offense line if it's healthy. You've seen some injuries last year. On the defense side of the ball, they added Josh Allen to an already good pass rush group pretty much. So now they have more of a rotation, so that could be scary. I expect guys like Taven Bryan to step up. We'll see if he steps up in the interior D-line. He can add some pressure. The linebacker unit is what I'm worried about now that Telvin Smith, was out. He didn't play his best ball last year, but still was an impact player for them. Was definitely a good season just compared to 2 years ago, So they definitely needed him. Myles Jack, I was always high on Myles Jack. He was looking good. Last year, he was very disappointing. I wouldn't even say he played good last year. He was very disappointing, but I think he can bounce back this year. He's going to need to because not much of a linebacker unit there. In terms of secondary, love their starting corners, but not much depth. But they may have the best corner with Jalen Ramsey, maybe the best corner duo. And the safety group is solid, but again, not much depth. Ronnie Harrison's going to have to step up. We'll see if he can do that. He had his moments last year, but needs to be a little more consistent. Let's get on to, right before the predictions actually, 20K is our subscriber goal. Why you should subscribe to our channel is because we got daily sports content. We upload at least one video every single day, and the first upload is at 2 p.m. Eastern. Every day. We're also covering more. We specialize in the NFL. We cover a little more, though. We're covering the NBA draft as well. So a lot going on here. We got some live streams coming up, hopefully. Check out our Twitter for updates and polls where you guys vote on NFL questions. And then, I would appreciate that very much if you liked, subscribe, and checked out that Twitter and Instagram. Links in the description for those. But to the Jags schedule. And I got the chance to look over the schedule. And let me tell you, I'm a little angry here. I'm not a Jaguars fan. Most of you know that. But you think a fourth-place team would have a fourth-place schedule. I mean, technically it is a fourth-place schedule, but it doesn't look like it. This looks like the hardest schedule in the division. The way the draws here, the way it's laid out, that's the key part. And I'm not happy with the draw they got. I'm not rooting for the Jaguars, so it's not why I'm mad. It's just fourth place schedule should be a fourth place schedule. They did not get a good draw here, so that's rough. I think this is a team that can get back to the AFC Championship game, but it's always about game by game. How could they, play week by week? So, first game against the Chiefs. I mean, this one really could go either way. So it's going to be somewhat of a defensive challenge for the Chiefs, but really no defense really phased the Chiefs last year. I know they could be a little different this year. Teams couldn't know what to look for, but that's that type of offense where you know what's coming. You can slow it down a little bit, but you can't really stop it. So I do like the Chiefs in week 1. Week 2, in Houston, I think every AFC South team is pretty even. So I don't think there's going to be any blowout. The Jags struggle with the Titans, the Colts, or the Titans struggle with the Colts, but really I think they're all pretty even. I like the Texans at home in this one in a good game. Titans at Jags. Like I mentioned, the Jags struggle with the Titans. I know they have Nick Foles now, but it's tough defense. Titans should be healthy at this. When the Titans are healthy, they're good. For the matchup, I like the Titans. So we got an 0-3 start. A team that I think they can win the Super Bowl. They're looking at the roster. They can win the Super Bowl. They definitely can get back to the AFC championship game. They got Nick Foles, Super Bowl MVP. He's very capable. He got the Eagles to the playoffs. Without Nick Foles, they don't get to the playoffs. So I like this team. This is a good team. But you look how the schedule's laid out so far. 0-3 is not looking too good, but we'll keep going. And obviously they can win some of these games. I'm not guaranteeing an 0-3. They can really be 3-0, but it's not looking good how it's laid out there. In Denver, I think they got to get a win by here. Denver's got a tough defense. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's just Nick Foles versus Joe Flacco. I'm taking the Jags, even though they're away. In Carolina, if you're going to play Carolina, you'd rather draw them later because that's a team that seems to get beat up as the season goes on, and they play pretty good early in the year. The difference is where it's at for me in this game because it's such a toss-up. I'm going to take Carolina. So not a good draw there. I'm gonna have them beat the Saints. This is a tough matchup for the Saints in Jacksonville. If it was in New Orleans, maybe a little different. But the matchup, I think the Jaguars defense could. I think they slow Breeze down enough. Breeze is not gonna throw. He can dominate games and throw all over teams, but he's not gonna do it as much as he used to. Still gonna be an elite quarterback. But the Jaguars can slow him down enough. For matchup reasons, I like the Jags here. The Bengals game, I did the Bengals video. I'm kind of back and forth. I have some changes throughout these as time goes on. I'll take the Jags. That's a good game. The Jags defense has to show up because the Bengals offense can play pretty well early in the season, somewhat early here in week 7. Home against the Jets. I like the Jags. I like the Jags at home on that one. I think it's a favorable matchup for them for sure at home. Against the Texans, this one's in London. That kind of, it almost feels like London's the second home for the Jags, but it still kind of sucks. You kind of want them a division game, really, a division game. You get to play in Houston in a division rival game, but you don't get to play in Jacksonville. I don't know if the Jags have some doing to that. I know they want to play in London, but did they decide it was okay to have a division game in London? I think that's kind of BS if you ask me, but I'll still take the Jags in their second home. They won't get swept by the Texans. In Indianapolis to play the Colts, I'll take. So they're starting to catch up. They're 5-4, but I will take the Colts in that one, 5-5. In Tennessee, I just don't like the matchup. They just struggle with Tennessee, but it is a new year. It's different. I think both teams are better, but I got the Titans 2-0ing them. Buccaneers, Jags. I think this could be a good game. Could be nice and tight, but the Jags, I got winning that one. Against the Chargers, this is where Nick Foles starts to come alive. So we're 6-6 here. We got terrible draws as a 4th place schedule. Terrible scheduling job. So if I was a Jaguars, I am pissed, and I'm not even a Jags fan. So I don't like that draw. I'm gonna keep going back to that. I think it's BS. They should have a 4th place schedule. People are like, well, they have the same opponents as the rest of the division besides this. To me, it's all about the layout. It always has been. Terrible layout here. But I think they turn it around here. This is about the season where, Nick Foles starts to kick in, as long as they're healthy. And, he can play good ball throughout the whole season. But I like them against the Chargers. The Chargers, I think, may be a little better going long run here for this year. But I think the Jags could actually force a turnover too in this game at home, and Nick Foles plays a good enough game here. I like the matchup for the Jaguars. In Oakland, I like the Jags. They play good defense this game. The Raiders aren't able to score a whole bunch of points here, and that's the difference. So they're starting to pick it up at Atlanta. I like the Falcons down. This is going to be a hell of a game. That's going to be a hell of a game. It could go either way, and the home field advantage is the difference. I think Atlanta right here. And then home against the Colts, I got them winning. So before any Jags fans are upset about the 9-7, I want to talk about a couple things here. Well, 9-7 could get you into playoffs, one. But like I said, I think the Jags can win a Super Bowl. I think they're capable of that. And I was actually talking to somebody about this AFC South because it's such an interesting topic, very recently before I made this video. And this is the first time I've seen their schedule, but this is the first time I'm breaking it down game by game. And when I was talking about the AFC South, I'm saying I think the Jags are the best team in the AFC South. They bounced back from 2 years ago. They got a fourth place schedule. They got the big playmakers on defense, and they'll step up. Some young guys will step up. They got Josh Allen. And the main thing, they got Nick Foles. And I expect Fournette to be on the field a little more. So I'm saying I think the Jags are the best team in that division. And I mentioned in there, they got a 4th place schedule, so they can easily bounce back. But then once you actually get in here and look at this BS draw they got, it's tough. I don't have them winning the division at 9-7. And that's the difference between looking at each team in a division and picking who wins the division and actually looking at the schedule. There is a difference. It's impossible, though, to predict how the schedule will be really once we're in season because nobody knows how every team will be. You have an idea how the Chiefs will be, how the Saints will be, how the Falcons will be, teams like that. You have an idea, how some of the other teams will be, the Jets, the Bucks, but nobody really knows. So this is a very tough one. The whole AFC South is tough. I think they are much, much, much better than a 9-7 team. But that's what I have having here. It's that first three. But then I say that, but then you keep looking on. They're at Denver. They're at Carolina. They play the Saints. It's at home. So really the first 6, they got to come out of that with at least 2 wins, which I had here. If they can get 3 wins in there, that's a win. That's a win in those games. So tough draw. Very interesting topic here because I think they're much better than a 9-7 team. Like I said, I was talking to somebody about the AFC South because it's an interesting division, and I right off the bat said, I'm feeling the Jags this year. Well, it's a different story when you actually break it down game by game. So very interesting. We'll see if this happens again with the other divisions. We still got to do the NFC South, AFC West, then NFC West, and then we'll start predicting playoffs and Super Bowl. So very interesting. There is some changes on the way. Slight changes, not many, but we'll see. But yeah, we got NBA draft coverage coming up as well, but plenty of NFL content for the upcoming season and during the season. And we'll try to do more live streams. So check out our videos. We covered plenty of teams for this already, these types of videos. And then clicking that subscribe button will be much, much appreciated. We got daily NFL and sports videos in general. But thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for everyone's support. Goodbye.